John.
Thank you, Kenny. First of all, Jay, it's great to see you, and Renee, and I see Coach Phil Greco back there, who I haven't seen since we lost to South Lafourche in the playoff game. And I still believe I wasn't over the line of scrimmage, but that's what happens when you go on the road and play games. I got my brother in town here. He's in from South Africa, and he hasn't been back for a while. He had some neck surgery, so I invited him to come over with me, and he's a cheap son of a gun, so I got him a free meal today, so he's happy to be here. But I'm thrilled, speaking of Jay and Rummel and Coach Greco, you guys out there, this is going to be a shocker for you, but in 2 years, there's going to be a Fourcade quarterback in that Rummel High School. And it happens to be my brother Keith's son, Chase Fourcade, and I'm telling you now, Jay Roth, you might want to throw about 25 times a game, because his tutor is one hell of a coach, so I want to let you know that. But and John, I see my old good friend here, John Norris from the Voodoo. And I wish you guys luck, Gary. I haven't seen you in a while. It's been a long time. And you guys, I'm actually thrilled to be here because Renee said I would be the the main speaker of the ordeal here today, and overshadowing Renee and LSU. And I wore my red for Ole Miss because we're so good this year. And so things are struggling up there at Oxford, but I'll be up there when LSU goes up there. Just let me know what the point spreads are. But anyhow, first and foremost here, the Ole Miss game is down the road. Second and foremost here, let's talk about the Saints. I left that stadium yesterday when the score was 26-17. I had to leave to go get set up for my radio show that I do from 3:15 to 6 p.m. on WIST 690. And as I'm leaving the stadium, I had so much notes from that first 3 quarters of that football game that I was going to get into the Saints. I was going to actually say some things and talk about some things. And as I got to the spot that I'm doing my show, I look up, I get in there, and everybody's screaming and yelling, and we just intercepted a pass, down by 2, and the next thing you know is all my notes are thrown in the trash. And now I got to revise everything I thought I was going to say on air for 3 hours, and they came back and won the football game. Well, if you know the New Orleans Saints, as we all do, I come to learn now, I don't want to leave that arena ever again that early, but now I have to because of my radio show. It was a game that, from the people who called in, the people who came to our spot to talk about it, they said it was so much louder than the Minnesota Vikings playoff game. And that's kind of hard to determine if it's that loud, because I was down that field when Garrett kicked that winning kick to send us to the Super Bowl. But if it was that loud at that football arena yesterday in that Superdome, I just can't imagine what it's going to be like the rest of the season. But we can't go into these football games giving people heart attacks like this. First and foremost, our defense is sort of like what the LSU was the other night. You're playing football nowadays, and football has changed. Let's be honest, Jay, there's no more 5 and 7, 9-yard passes a game in the NFL. You never see that nowadays. You got Brady throwing 500 yards. You got Cam Newton throwing 400-something yards. The game is coming to a passing lead. We all know that. With Drew Brees out there, you're in every football game. And what we talked about yesterday in a radio show was I said, listen, no matter if the Saints are down 14 points, 10 points, or whatever, they're still in the football game. Some teams are not. This team yesterday showed its character. Didn't play very well overall. Let's be honest. We know they're going well. That defense has got to improve. In areas that concern me, basically, is the linebackers can't run with the tight ends and the running backs. And I'm not holding anything back on that. I really believe that. They didn't get any pass rush yesterday against a good Houston blocking offensive line. It's a really good blocking team right there in Houston. They threw the ball well. But the thing was, and we all know as coaches, you can go up and down the field 20-20, but if you're not putting touchdowns on the scoreboard, you're in every football game. They gave up 5 times in the red zone 4 field goals. My hat goes off to the Saints and the defensive staff for that. But sooner or later, you're going to find a team that's going to find a way to get the ball in the end zone. They got to improve on their defense in that area. Overall, though, offensively, I still look at where's the running game. Now, it's just me speaking. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Kenny knows a lot about it. Renee knows a lot about it. I still don't see the Saints having a running game yet. It's only 3 games into the season. They got a core of running backs. I still believe they're trying to feel these guys out. Who's going to carry the load? But Darren Sproles is a real deal. There's no doubt about it. You saw him on that one play get the football, and he was in the end zone. Bush would have been on the sideline kissing Kim Kardashian. All right, that's a big difference in football players there. That man can run and play football. That offensive team of Saints, you got to realize this yesterday, for you people who don't know this. They ended the game with 5 offensive linemen with a tight end possibly going to have to play offensive line if another injury would have came into effect. So when you go into a football game, you lose your center pretty early in the football game, and your backup center was inactive. They used a guard to play center. Then you lose Streif on the end. Now you bring in Charles Brown to come play. And now you look at your offensive lineman, you have 5 guys that played the second half of a football game, and if something would have happened to a lineman, they would have been in trouble. But it didn't happen. Drew Brees is the real deal. We all know that. We talk about Drew week in and week out. On the radio show, we all talk about who do you want to give the MVP this week to. We have a player of the week, extreme player of the week, and everybody's always calling in saying Drew Brees. Well, Drew Brees is going to make them every week. We can pick Drew Brees. We know what Drew's going to bring to the table. That guy is as calm as you ever seen a quarterback in the NFL. You know, you have your Tom Brady's and your Peyton Manning's, but give me Drew Brees. And he threw a couple of picks. He didn't freak out. He didn't go berserk. He knew that Graham ran the wrong route. He came back. And if you look at this overall football team right here, they got into, as we play football games in the past, you put it by quarters. Each quarter of football, your first 4 games, you want to be no worse than 3-1. Right now, the Saints are at 2-1 with a chance to go to Jacksonville and get to that 3-1 mark. And then they got after Jacksonville, they got Carolina, who's got a rookie quarterback, good quarterback in Cam Newton. And then they got the Colts coming in. I'm sorry, they go to Tampa Bay first. Then they have the Colts coming in. We all saw the Colts last night. So they have the next 4 ball games, very winnable football games. I just feel that their team has to improve on all areas of the game. They got to find a running game. They cannot have this bend but don't break defense. It's great because you win in football games, but sooner or later they're going to find a team that's going to break them. And they got some areas on defense they have to concern that I think they need. I think the linebacking core needs to be picked up a little bit. And they're still not getting to the quarterback right now. But overall, we're 2-1. Hopefully 3-1 after this fourth game coming up in the quarter. Basically, guys, the people out there, they won that game yesterday, I believe, because of the fan support that they had in that arena, in that Superdome. And I was the fool for leaving, but I have to leave and do that. And it was so exciting just to hear the people come in after that game and explain to me what happened from a standpoint of being at that arena. And I just wished I could have been there and saw and felt the aroma, the atmosphere of the people there. But in that, with that saying, we have a really good football team here. There's no doubt this is one of the top teams in the NFL. Right now, you look at the Buffalo Bills, and we heard a comment today, they're not even in the top 10 in the league. That's my opinion, and that's a lot of other people's opinion. They say the Buffalo Bills won, the Detroit Lions won, they're 3-0. It's too early in the season to determine what teams are where and how they're going to end up at the end of the season. That's why you play 16 games. We know what the Saints present itself. We know what they're going to bring each week in and week out. I like what this team has. The character of this football club is together, and these guys are going to be the winners. And I'm looking for another run to the Super Bowl with the New Orleans Saints. So we'll leave it open for some questions. I know everybody's ready to roll out of here, but anybody want? Yes, Marie. She said Stinchcomb retired. Let me put it to you this way. Any NFL player gets a chance to come back and make $4 or $5 million, and he's going to be unretired pretty shortly. If it's a possibility of them bringing him back, I'm sure he's one of the guys on their list that they talk to. There are some injured players on the Saints line right now. There are some linemen out there they will talk to. If he's got a chance to come back and they want to take him back, I'm sure he'll be back. He's still in town, yet he hasn't left, so I would see that he'd be one of the guys they do talk to. Any other questions?
What's the other running back that's hurt?
Oh, Ivory. Chris, I believe he was put on the pulp list before the season began. He has to miss, I believe, 6. Am I right, Kenny? He has to miss 6 ball games before he's able to come back. What you will see then is when that happens, they got to make a decision with him to either activate him or put him possibly, I don't know if he's eligible for the practice roster. They have 6 weeks to determine with his injury. Nobody's saying. Sean Payton is so quiet about his injury report, so we don't know much about his whole injury issue, but he's on a 6-week pulp list, so he won't be able to play for another 3 more weeks. Coach Greco, you got a question? Was I over the line? You really think I was?
I looked at the film and it wasn't
I was nowhere near it, man. That's
That game haunts me to this day.
look, I got to see Bobby Abear too much to realize I lost to him in that game. But no, Coach Greco's a good man, guy. He was my offensive coordinator, so I got to blame him for that play call. We should have ran the veer, but that's okay. Any other Saints questions? Well, hey, I appreciate you guys having me here and support us very much. Thank you.